Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com, and today I want to talk to you about why you must stop worrying about what other people think about you, and you must stop critiquing others. Now, there's some little exceptions to this, but I want to get into this because it's going to help some people, because many people are going through life worrying about what other people think about them. And the problem with that is, the most obvious problem, there's a number of problems, but the most obvious problem is the fact that other people don't care about you and your life the way you do. So what they think about you is not from a position of your best. Now, maybe there's some people who do have your best in mind. You know, if you go hire a business coach or something and they are critiquing you and trying to help, that's different, because that's what you're paying for. You don't want them to just tell you, oh, you're great, because that doesn't fix anything. You want them to give you advice. Maybe they will tell you you're great, and here's how you can be even greater. But I'm talking about in your regular daily life, you get people who are just critiquing you and criticizing you. And I'm going to tell you something. This might be very helpful for many people. You must understand that when people are constantly critiquing and criticizing other people, when they're putting them down, they're not doing that from a good place. Now, what I mean by that is not that they're necessarily mean-spirited. Many of them don't even know what they're doing. I mean that in their heart, they don't feel good about themselves. I don't know anyone who's ultra successful, who is busy and doing a lot each day, that has time to go around critiquing everybody and nitpicking them and fault finding them. It just doesn't happen. Successful people are not busy being involved in other people's business. They're not busybodies. They're not going around, oh, you know what you're doing wrong over here. Oh, you know you sure didn't do that very good. They're not doing any of that. Not one of them does that. And my point in bringing that up is the fact that these people are not feeling good about themselves. When you see it in that light, first thing, any concern about their criticism goes out the door. But second thing, you can feel compassion on them and understand they're coming from a hurt place. This is not what successful people are doing. So these people are basically revealing themselves to not be successful. Even if you may think they're successful, if all they're doing is going around through life criticizing everybody, critiquing everybody, telling everybody how they're wrong, how this is bad and that's bad, that's from a hurt place. And now for you, you also got to be sure that you're not critiquing other people. I've known people who are really worried about what other people think about them and worried about what somebody might say about them, and yet they do the same thing to other people. They're going around and nitpicking and critiquing and fault finding with other people. What do you expect to get in life if you're doing that to everybody else? Now, you may be thinking you're helping somebody, but are you really? And I'm going to tell you, here's how you can know if you're really helping somebody, or at least if you know if you're trying to help somebody, is what is your motive behind it? Is it that you want to be right? Because that's not trying to help somebody. Is it that you want them to be wrong? Because that's not trying to help somebody. Really dig down and try to find out what your motive is. Because when you can find that, it will really reveal a lot about what you're doing. And for most people, you don't need to be critiquing people. You don't need to be criticizing them. You don't need to be judging them. Remember, Jesus said, judge not, you be not judged. There's a powerful truth there. I know people use that as an excuse to just do whatever they want and tell people not to judge them. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a powerful truth there that if you don't want to get judged, you don't want to be critiqued, you don't want to be nitpicked, don't do it yourself. Especially when all these judgments and critiques and nitpicking and stuff, it's not even righteously done. It's not coming from a righteous place of really seeking the best for that individual. Like I said, you want to hire a coach or a mentor or somebody to teach you and to help you, and the purpose is to critique you and help you improve yourself. That's different, because those people still should be coming from a place of love, not just nitpicking you or fault finding. They're trying to help you get better, and that's the whole purpose, because you hired them for. But you must make sure, if you're concerned about what other people are thinking about you, and maybe you have other people that come in and just fault find and nitpick you, Are you doing that to other people? That's very important. Get rid of that from your own life. Take the mote from your own life, then you can get the little tiny speck out of theirs. But here's another important point. If you will make sure that you're in tune with God, you're really being led by the Spirit, you're seeking Him out. Many people say, well, I don't know how to be led by the Spirit. But they do things and they never ask God about it. They never seek His wisdom. Like, how can you be led by the Spirit when you don't even try to be led by the Spirit? So make sure you're actively engaging God in the processes of your daily life. As I've mentioned before in previous videos, nothing's too small for God. And what I mean by that is that you may feel something's too trivial for God. It's too small. I don't want to bother God. I used to think that myself when I was a teenager. I didn't know, and all kinds of things I didn't ask God for. And I didn't ask for His help and His wisdom in because I thought it was too small. No, go throughout your day. I don't care how small it is. Ask God. He's not limited. He's not put out. He's not burdened. You're not stopping Him from doing something else. Seek His wisdom in all things. And when you're doing that and you're being led by the Spirit, it will naturally fall off of you, this concern for what other people think about you. It will also fall off of you this desire to critique others or exalt yourself above others because you're the master fault finder. And you can find all these faults in them and they can't find anything in you. That's no way to live. And you won't want to live that way when you're being led by the Spirit because you'll be led in compassion. Yes, there are times you have to help somebody in a fault. You want to restore them in the spirit of meekness. That's all right. But just going around finding fault in everybody and trying to nitpick them and see what thing you can finally draw out of them to make yourself feel better and look better, that's no way to live. So in closing, I want to make sure you ensure that you're not critiquing other people. You're not going around criticizing and nitpicking them if you are concerned about other people and what they think about you. Because that is a sure way to get more of that in your life if you're doing it yourself. But also make sure that you get led by the Spirit. Make sure you're really seeking God's wisdom each and every day. Even in trivial things or seemingly trivial things. God will meet you there. He will give you wisdom. He will lead you and guide you into all truth. And as you do that, what other people think about you will just fall away. You won't care. Doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean you don't respect their opinions. It just means it has nothing to do with you because you're being led by the Spirit. And the only approval you concern yourself with is the approval of God. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.